guys, my name is Sachi Hansalia,
And I'm Vivian Singh.
and this is the first episode in our podcast called Why Wait? And we're going to talk about everything from the science of procrastination to real-life experiences with it, and the way that you, the listener, can avoid putting things off until later.
Yeah.
Millions of Americans procrastinate every day on everything from doing things like their homework to socializing with their friends, and we are among those many people.
Yeah. Especially me. So originally we were actually interested in this topic after our many experiences with it.
It's sad.
And after I did some research on genetics, we really wanted to see how the two topics might actually tie in together. And surprisingly, there's actually a lot of correlation, which we want to share with all y'all. But that's something we'll get into later.
To start off, I mainly did my research on procrastination, and Vivian did hers on genetics, as she said before. And I chose that topic because I feel like it's, procrastination is something that's overlooked, and it's not like the most critical or crucial problem, but it's still really prominent, and I felt it should be addressed.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of times, people don't really realize how much procrastination actually affects them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize like if they didn't have procrastination, they could get a lot more done.
Yeah, and it's not just on small scale things like your homework or whatever. It can also be on like start making new relationships or with like, as we said, hanging out with your friends or your family, and things that can be a lot more important or much bigger deal than like one homework
Or
assignment.
even like it could also be like self goals, like if you want to, like, for example, start eating healthier.
Yeah, if you
Or,
want
like,
to start working out more, or
like,
if you
I
want
have struggled with that because I have a very big mouth. But yeah, so let's get into some basic information about our topics. So starting off with Sachi's topic, which is procrastination. What exactly is procrastination?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Vivian. Procrastination is just putting things off until later. It can be anything. It can be your homework. It can be socializing. It can be personal goals you have, whether it's like being healthy, learning something new, a new skill, or something like that. And we all do it. I do it. Vivian does it. My parents do it. My sister does it. I'm sure many of you do it. Now, procrastination is really bad, not only because you're putting things off until later, but in giving yourself less time to work, you're decreasing the quality of your output, and you're also increasing your stress and your anxiety because you have another thing to worry about, and that's like how well you're going to do on
The amount of
test.
times I've cried before an essay was due because I started the night before is a lot of times.
Yeah, and it can take a toll, especially if it happens consistently, which is another problem.
Yeah.
Procrastinating once can make it like keep happening.
Yeah, and like a lot of us don't know how to stop it because it's like it's more than just saying, oh well, I'm just gonna do it, because you can't just do it. Like, like mental toughness.
And there's a lot of distractions out there too. TikTok.
I love TikTok.
That's why I don't have TikTok, guys. Don't. TikTok is bad.
Don't be like me, because I think one time I spent honestly, you know how like a 40 hours a week is like a typical like day job?
Yeah.
Like over winter break, I think in a week I spent like 35 hours
Oh my
on TikTok.
God, Vivian. If you got paid to do it, that
would be a whole
job.
Work day, yeah.
Yeah. Your phone tells you, right?
Yeah.
Like how much time you spend on your
screen
phone?
time. Yeah, so like we need like just a lot of commitment and dedication.
Yeah, because everything out here is a distraction, and it's here to make you stop your work. But you just gotta have a lot of willpower to be able to want to get it done. And besides that, there are a lot of other ways to do it too, or to like keep focusing and keep us or stay on track. And we'll talk about some more of them in some future episodes.
But you should just generally try your best to avoid it.
Mm-hmm. Even though there are some benefits, once again, something else we'll talk about later. Procrastination is bad. Just remember that, and you'll be good. Now, Vivian, as we said, researched genetics, so we're going to have her talk a little bit about it. Vivian, tell us, what is genetics?
So genetics is basically, well, I think everyone knows this, DNA, chromosomes, the stuff that makes you you.
Mm-hmm.
But, so when your cells, they go through like the cell cycle, and that's when DNA gets replicated, and sometimes it gets replicated wrong. So like biology makes mistakes. It makes a mistake. And there you will have mutations and disorders, There's different kinds of mutations that we'll get into later on, and some of those mutations. So DNA makes proteins because it's like a code for your ribosomes in your cell to make proteins. And those proteins they carry out functions in your body. Like, for example, if you have a mutation, like Down syndrome is an example because you have an extra chromosome in your 21st slot.
Yeah, and things like that can happen due to mistakes in like
replicating, or like even caused by like things like viruses. Sometimes they're also caused by like environmental factors. Like, for example,
radiation can cause genetic mutations. It can be inherited.
So mutations, on the other hand, they're not all bad necessarily, because like, for example, if you take natural selection into play, mutations are often what keeps a species going when there's like an environmental change, and it's how they adapt to new situations basically. But again, they can also be very bad. Now you might be wondering, like, why are we talking about procrastination and genetics, and why are we making an entire podcast about the two topics? Well, actually, they're really interconnected, and it's a lot of really cool information, but there's a lot more to come. So we suggest that you stay tuned, because we will soon have a lot more episodes elaborating on some of the things that we talked about today. And we'll discuss like the negative effects of procrastination, how to stop it. We're also going to talk about how it relates to genetics, like go into more depth about it as well. And if some of us are inherently predisposed to procrastination, which is interesting.
Or what if we are all just making bad choices and we need to get it together?
Yeah.
And stop procrastinating. But all of that will come later. And we have a lot more information to share, and we hope you'll come with us on this journey of self-improvement.
Yes. And also, this was for Project Blue.
Thank you, Mrs. Watson and Mrs. Philippos, for assigning us eye to eye. That is the reason we are doing this, but also because we suck and we need help with our own procrastination. And we're hoping that all of this can help us learn some new things about the topic as well.
Yeah, we can help each other get better and improve as people.
So thank you, everyone, for listening, and tune in next time for more procrastination tips on why